Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. My name is Julia, and I'm a QHHT practitioner. And today I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my own experience as a client in a QHHT session. And I want to start off by saying that you will get and you will experience exactly what you are meant to experience, and you'll be guided to the most appropriate time and place for you at this moment in your life. But for me, I think most importantly, we always start at the base. So deep within what's really going on, and sometimes we don't even understand where that base is, but through QHHT, you're taken to that place of deeper understanding and deeper meaning of other situations going on in your life. So a little bit of a background for me and what I talked with my QHHT practitioner about. One of the main events as in childhood, as you know, we start the session by talking about your whole life experiences starting with childhood. So a big experience in my childhood, which I can remember, is that when I can't quite remember how it happened, but obviously I was 2 years old, and both of my parents, my mom and my dad, went to America with green cards, and they won. Back in the days, this is in the 90s, it was close to impossible to ever go to America, so it was living the American dream, and they went for it. Obviously I couldn't go because I was a baby back then, but long story short, until about 6-7 years later, I haven't seen my parents at all. So while my parents were in America, my grandparents were looking after me. Both of my father's parents and my mom's parents, they were super, super great. I had an amazing childhood. I could not complain about anything. I had all the love, care, and everything I could ever wish for, and I had an amazing, amazing childhood. So I'm very thankful for them and that experience. But kind of now, looking back and as where I am in my life now, I never thought that this would be something that I haven't gotten over or I hadn't processed in a way, because it's silly to sit here and think, oh, I'm not over my parents leaving when I was 2, and to just vent out and cry about it. So I kept on going, and until my session, I really didn't think that it had anything to do with how I was or how the whole experience shaped me as the person I am today. So in my QHHT session, I was able to experience a similar situation to what happened in my present life right now. So this was a past life where I was a male, I was a little boy, and I was a bit older than I was in this lifetime when my parents left, because I could remember I was around 5 or 6. But I experienced it again, and in my session, I burst out full-on crying, all tears and everything. And this is not a shameful thing, because up until now, most of my clients, if not all, have went straight into tears once they were brought into a past life or any experience that they were experiencing in the session. So having a good cry in the session is something very good and very healthy, and is a good indicator that you're generating genuine emotions and you're speaking from your heart, and whatever has happened has truly touched you and affected you. So this was one of the first healings in my session, to be able to cry about the situation through my past life experience in my session. So I was really crying, and that was my first release of that kind of emotion that I guess I had stuck in me still, even if I didn't know about it. So that was one of the first great things that I experienced in my QHHT session. And then going forward, other things that link to that I found out through my SC, or my higher self, speaking after in my session, was that kind of situation, because I had no control of it. Now in this lifetime, I feel like I need to control everything, which is a big thing for me. I always want to know where my kids are. where my husband is, who's doing what. Like if something needs to be organized, I need to have organized it. I need to know what exactly is gonna happen. I need to plan it. I need to be involved. And it's not a really healthy thing to have to experience on a daily life, because you cannot plan all the things. You cannot be in control of all the situations. So you need to just let go and let them unfold. But one of the messages I got through in my session was because I hadn't had control over that situation with my parents in my current life, I felt like now I had to control every single scenario happening. So I know what's going on, I know what the outcome will be and all of that stuff. But as I said, that's just impossible to do and way unhealthy to do. So that was one of the things I released in the session as well, and really understand that you cannot control everyone in your life. You cannot control all the situations. You need to just trust, let go, and live your life without being a control freak, basically. Another thing that I was able to understand as well was my headaches, because as a child I used to get a lot of like really bad headaches, and I kind of lived with them, and I kind of knew they would be always there. And when you have these kind of persistent symptoms of a headache, for example, you kind of like learn to live with it, which is not the way that should be taken, because all of those are messages, signals to you that something is happening or something is not going the right way. So we should never kind of learn to live with a discomfort or any kind of illness or ache of any sort. So whenever you do have an ache, you need to kind of really look into it, deep into it. Where does it stem from? What's the background, really the deep roots of what's causing it? So as a child, obviously this whole thought process is happening now, because I grew up with it and it has been going on for a long time. But one of the things I was able to understand in my QHHT session about those headaches was the pressure that I was putting on myself. So with controlling every situation, with having to know everything and be everywhere and know what the outcome of everything is gonna be, and try to, put all these things in my mind to just kind of process and deal with and do, it really brings a lot of pressure. And I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to do all these things, and my head would just like basically explode and not take it anymore. So since I've understood that, the headaches have started to go away, which is really amazing. I do get headaches now and again, but whenever that happens, I'm like able to sit down and do a lot of inner work to really process what I'm going through right now, or what I'm thinking about right now, because your head is the thoughts, all the thoughts that you process, all the things that you think about. And it's so literal in that sense that you're like, yeah, I think with my head, and all those things really can affect you. But once I understood that, those kind of things eased off and are so much easier to cope with. But really understanding the base, the origin of some of like long time problems you have been dealing with is very important as a beginning of your healing journey. So that's why I wanted to share mine with you. And sometimes we go into these sessions and we have these expectations that we're gonna be experiencing some famous great life happening, and we're gonna see all these beautiful images and stuff happening, and that's also great, and that is part of the process as well. But sometimes you find more treasure, more gold, more useful information for yourself, more healing information for yourself in those little simple lives that are like completely tailored to what you need to experience right now and what you need to release right now. So that was a great learning curve for me, and I'm really grateful for that experience, and I'll share more soon. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.